these people that have handled them over the years than is in that pipeline. So we're slowly, we haven't completed that operation. We were hoping to be switched completely over, but there's only so many hours in the day to work. So so this year last year we tapped 250 on the buckets. This year we're up to almost 400. So and also I'd like to thank another old timer. She hates to be called old, but my mother. She wasn't here last year. Like I said, she was down helping take care of a friend. But she has owned this piece of property and kept it as a sugar orchard for many years. And there's nothing more that she loves than being in that sugar house. Or she'll sit in that tractor bucket on a chair and ride around here as we go collect, and I'll just pick it up and she'll move to the next spot and wait. And then, or my sister did bring her up for a short period last year, and she was helping collect and all that. But yeah, my dad used to get mad because she'd come up and sit for hours up here while we boiled, and he'd be home. He didn't care for the boiling and as much, but she'd be up here. So was there anything else that
I don't know what you were going to say.
I wing it, Kim plans out, and I kind of wing it. So no, that's we just keep our other orchard down the road. That was the Rice's property. We have equipment here from that, and we just keep trying to tie in and bring in as many of the old Newark people that and their energy that we can.
And hopefully soon we'll be able to be collecting with our oxen. Many of you probably know Pete and Doug, the superstars. But right now they're housed at the farm, so it would mean walking them up the road every time we went to collect. And that's just not that's a recipe for a broken leg with mud and ice and all of that. So we might have them here for special occasions, but for the most part, Ben is the ox.
I was hoping to bring him up today, but he's got a crack in his hoof, so
yeah.
I didn't want to walk him this far.
Yeah. So we're going to do the wassail?
Sure.
Well, could I say something?
Yes.
I just want to thank you and Ben for keeping this all going.
Yeah.
Woo!
So we're going to wassail the trees. Wassail actually means good health. So just like you would in an apple orchard, but we're going to use sap. So Ben and Lydia just collected this sap, and Lydia's going to go around.
Now this is real sap, and there could be bark in it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to hurt, but there could be.
When you get your cup, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to, after everybody gets their cup, we're going to offer half of our cup to a maple tree close to you. Just find one around you and you can offer that. And as we're doing that, we're going to sing the Algonquin water song. So the Algonquin water song was something that was created back in 2002 and has asked to be shared specifically amongst women. And so it's to bless and give love and gratitude to the water. But it dawned on me the other day, like, oh, the sap is water, 98% water. And so I think it'd be really appropriate if we sing that song while we're giving our offering. If you know it, feel free to jump in. It's super easy. And then after we offer to the trees, then we will drink the other half ourselves and toast to the good health of the maple trees.
Oh, even better.
So while they're going around doing that, in preparation for today, I actually learned a whole bunch of interesting facts about sap. So right now I'm on a super low carb diet and I'm fasting, and so I can't have syrup. So that's the biggest torture ever to be in a sugar house where we're making syrup. And usually I just taste it in the back. And so I have not had a drop of syrup yet. But I thought, there's electrolytes and stuff, and I really need that right now. So anyways, I was looking into all this. I found that and it's got over 50 trace minerals and vitamins in it, as well as electrolytes.
Do you want some?
So in South Korea, for example, it's considered like a tonic to just drink the sap. So if you have a freezer yard and you don't want to make it sugar or make it syrup, you definitely have it.
Olivia.
the energy of sap itself. So it sort of aligns with the energies of spring. We all want to wake up, and the trees are waking up, and the sap is rising. So think about when you sip your sap, think about that springtime energy rising within you and aligning to that awakening of all of the plants around us. Did they run out of sap?
No.
No. They disappeared.
No,
on
they
me.
went down to give Olivia's.
Oh.
She parked it.
I hope they saved me one. Did you park it? Wait. Thank you.
It's just right there. Is this water?
I can't avoid everything.
I think that's it.
Oh yeah, that was another cool fact. Medicinally, for you herbalists in the room, maple sap is supposed to be really good for cleansing your liver and your spleen, and it also is good for arthritic conditions and inflammatory conditions. And again, in South Korea, they call it, if you translate what they call maple, it means tree of the bones. So that gives a clue to what it's been used for all those years. That's a different species, but it is still a maple. Everybody has?
Over the shoulder?
So, you remember the word?
No. Kim's been trying to teach me this song.
Does anybody else know the water song?
I will remember it when you start singing.
Okay, okay.
Maybe Waba.
Nibi Wabo, yes.
Okay.
So, you're going to help me out, right? Okay. Heather knows it too. Where are you hiding?
Over here.
So, as I'm singing this, so we're going to sing it 4 times. I'm going to sing it each direction, but you guys don't have to worry about that. Just find yourself a tree and give an offering of half your cup, and then come back.
It can be a fir tree also,
Yeah.
because just an
You're going
offside.
to tell that story later.
Okay. Well, no, that's okay. Okay.
I'm just gonna sing with the group.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Get my bearings. Nibi Wabo and I am Nibi Wabo. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. Nibi Wabo and I am
Freezing cold. It tastes just like water.
That wasn't in my phone.
Yeah, how wonderful.
song I've learned you can sing to anything. I started singing it to my body the other day because I was having a lot of swelling in my leg, and I thought, well, we're all water, so why don't we sing that song to the water in our own body? I sing it in the shower as gratitude every day, so it's really powerful. Awesome. It's easy to incorporate into daily life. I don't think my family's sick of hearing it yet because they don't even know the words.
Huh? Okay.
I'll just wait for Sandy to come back down and then.
Yep. So I can tell a story for a second. I like telling stories. So, in the book Finding the Mother Tree, I'm drawing a blank. It's not Robin Wall Kimmerer. It's Susan Simard. Did a study of. She worked for the British Columbia Forest Service, and she did a study of how fir trees, the Doug fir out there that they plant, was dying off a lot. Except she noticed that where the white birch trees were growing also, they wanted to eradicate the white birch trees in the fir groves because they thought that the white birch trees were taking nutrients from the firs. But she did a study and she looked around and she saw that the white birches and the firs were thriving. So she did a whole bunch of studying and she found that in the springtime, the fir trees share nutrients to the white birch trees until the leaves come out on the white birch trees. And then once the leaves come out on the white birch trees give nutrients back to the firs. Then in the fall, when the birches lose their leaves, the fir trees give energy back to the birches. So I had Michael Phillips here, and we were walking around in the sugar orchard, and I said, we're in a dilemma about what to do with these fir trees because it's not the easiest thing to collect around them. And I said, but our feeling is that it could be giving nutrients and they're there for a reason. And he said, yeah. He said, I agree with you. He said, I wouldn't. He said, unless they're in the way, the more of them here, they could be really sharing nutrients with the maples. So we said, okay. So you can see it's not a groomed sugar bush. It's a working sugar bush and sharing. So
To that.
in that, I guess we'll give the toast. Here's to the great maples and all of us for being here and all of your energy sharing. We really appreciate it. And here's to a good sugar
But we're
season.
not done yet.
No.
Woo!
Gratitude.
Okay, so we have a cup collector.
Sure. I'll go. You got a cup they want to get rid of? Oh, I don't think cup collector. Okay. Yep.
So some of you may have brought some offerings for the tree.
Oh, I don't take crumpled ones.
That we have not
They don't fit.
I know. Brothers, make them fit.
on the spot. So I'm going to need 5 volunteers to take one of these cards as part of the poem. It's about 2 lines each. And then as we're reading the poem, anybody that has offerings can come up to the tree and leave their offering. So since I volunteered you, I will just use the very first one. All right. Thank you.
Oh, you need one too?
Anybody else? Got two more. And so there, you'll see there's a little number in the top corner for the rest of the order that
He was saying about those.
So while she's spreading those out, this syrup that I'm going to be offering. Oh, you're reading? To the trees is full moon syrup. We made 13 gallons the other night of full moon syrup. Maple moon syrup. We will be offering some of it back to the trees.
I guess now's a good time to say, in addition to that, so that sap was collected on the full moon, boiled on the full moon, and we made 13 gallons. Obviously, it's a limited quantity, but we wanted to offer it to you guys first because we knew you would really appreciate it.
Sign me up.
You'll get in line now.
Trample each other. And close to the equinox, too. I mean, you can't ask for
Yes,
much
we were
more.
hoping to have equinox syrup today too to boil, but
Yeah. No. So we're going to do the poem. Anybody else want a piece? There's one more piece. All right. Thank you, Evie. So you'll see at the bottom it says thank you. It's just the closing of this prayer. So you use whatever words you want. Amen, aho, whatever. All right, so Lydia, so everybody sees there's a number on the top, so you know the order? Yep. Okay. Go.
Trees of life, of bounty, of peace, and of wisdom, strong in your growth, their branches shelter us.
Deep in your roots, you hold fast the soil of life. Many are your leaves to share breath with us.
Abundant is your tasty sap that removes our hunger. Wise in your knowledge, your teachings guide us. That was 3.
Maybe on 4? Yeah. Quiet in your growth, you bring us the sun. Today we are here to honor you.
Today we offer you blessings. Today we wish you long life, health, and abundance.
Oh, maple tree, may your sap flow strong and sweet. That was sick.
thank you.
Thank you, Dinfuya.
So I can tell another story. Yeah. So it has to deal with the fir trees and collecting the bucket. So yesterday morning, that was yesterday. No, that was the day before.
I don't know, I've lost
The
track.
full moon morning, Friday morning. Friday morning, I went out. Kim came up and drove the tractor, and I went collecting. And being the first time, I usually like to do it myself to find where there's any leaking buckets or anything. And so worked my way around, and it got hot, and I kept losing layers of shirts, more shirts. Before long, I didn't have any shirts on, but.
If the sugar woods is a rockin'.
Yeah. So, anyway, there's all these saplings, and they could all be slapping me and hitting me, but this year I've really tried to work with the fir trees that are around, and when I come up to one and the branch is in my way, I bend the branch around and try and get it out of the way but not break it and just snap it off like I used to do. And so it was a damp, foggy morning, and I was collecting up top, and there was all kinds of fir trees, but they kept, as I'd walk under them, the water coming off of those trees wasn't cold, it was warm. And you know, usually when you walk under a tree and the drops drip on you and you go, whoa, that was cold, especially when it's 38, 39 degrees. But it wasn't. I didn't get cold at all, and I kept thinking about that, like, boy, and these drips aren't cold to me today. And also, every time I walked under one, it would go like this, and it would just run it gently stroke across my back. There was no pricking, there was no poking at me. It was just this like gentle touch on my back, as if to say, hey, thanks for working. Woo! So that's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
So I figured we could close out with a song, really simple song, and this is a song that I ask all of you to participate in if you're comfortable. It was taught to me by my dear friend and mentor Nancy, and I think she actually may have learned it at Sunday school. So some folks might know it as like, thank you for the day spirit, but we're going to say, I'm going to start off with thank you for this sap, Maple. Thank you for this sap, thank you for this healing sap. But those words could be changed. So if you had something you wanted to add after one round, such as thank you for this shade, Maple, thank you for this shade, this cooling shade, or whatever. It could be whatever, as long as it's honoring the maple. So I'll sing like 2 verses. Definitely this is a drumming song. And then if anybody has one to chime in, we can do that. Okay. I don't think I can do it. Thank you for the sap, Maple, thank you for the sap. Thank you for the sap, Maple, thank you for the sap. This healing sap, this healing sap, this healing sap. Healing sap, this healing sap, this healing sap. Thank you for the sap, Maple, thank you for the sap. Thank you for the sap, Maple, thank you for the sap.
This is my first time for the tree blessing, and the way that you talk about trees and our connection with it makes me cry, because I realize that there's more people out there in the world who are remembering what it's like, and in honoring that, and it gives hope in the world. It's just beautiful what you're doing. So thank you for letting me come and share it.
Thanks for coming.
Here's to the bang!
I'll tell one more story. I've cut wood on this farm since I was 14, I guess. I started a lot about 14, but 13, 14, I started cutting wood, learned how to run the chainsaw. I thought there was this never-ending supply of wood on this farm, and I kept cutting and cutting. And then I was riding around and I was going, I wanted, when my kids got to my age, I wanted them to have nice trees to enjoy and also to cut, because it's kind of fun to harvest a nice tree and make something out of it and heat your home with the limb wood and all that. So when I kept looking around and I'm going, well, there's not as many trees growing as what I was cutting. So I was on my tractor one day and I drove up through the woods and I needed some wood for a firewood order, and I stopped and got off and started up my chainsaw, and there was an ash tree over there. And I had my chainsaw running and my earmuffs on, and I walked over to this ash tree and just about to put my saw onto it, and clear as day I heard, "I'm not ready to be cut yet." And I went, "Wow, I don't drink.
No longer thought I was crazy.
I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't see anybody around, so I must have been in the tree." So I shut the chainsaw off and got back on my tractor and drove home. And I said, okay, well, so I went home, rested a few days, and went back out on the tractor for another ride around looking for some more wood. And I was driving along the edge of a hayfield, and there were some more trees. And I was looking at them, and I said, but how am I supposed to provide for my family and our heat and the money that we need to provide for our human needs? And I got really clearly, use the gifts of the forest. And I looked around, and I said, wow. I said, there's down limbs everywhere. There's down trees that are blown over. And so we decided when I got home that day, Kim and I talked about it, okay, from now on we'll only heat with the gifts of the forest. So this last year we had a number of trees that blew over and limbs that had fallen, and we go out and we collect them, and we've heated 2 homes this winter with the gifts of the forest. The other amazing thing was that my phone started ringing like crazy from different loggers saying, I've got this pile of wood that I don't need anymore, or that I don't have a market for, or that you're welcome to have it if you want. And so for the last year, I didn't have to cut any wood to heat my mother's home or the sugar house. It was all gifts.
Gifts that were showered upon us.
Right. And we have our it's mostly softwood, because we can burn softwood through the outdoor furnaces and through the evaporator. It takes a lot more, but they're all gifts, and so we've got this next year's supply pretty much all ready gifted also. So it's just by asking how to work with the trees. They have to do.
Awesome. Woo! Great story!
Thank you all for listening.
So if anybody wants to see in the sugar house, you're welcome to come down. There is syrup down there. We put it all in pints and liter sizes.
No, I know.